Today I'm fairly close to home, riding a very unique trail at the Conestee Nature Preserve near Mauldin, South Carolina. So why am I showing you a 1992 photo of a younger long-haired me with a young skinny Chipper Jones of the Atlanta Braves, 2018 inductee into the National Baseball Hall of Fame? I will explain later in the video. But first, enjoy this shot of my Chipper Jones bobblehead. So my first challenge regarding the Conestee Nature Preserve is, where is it exactly? Because somebody said, hey, it's been incorporated into Greenville, but it's not really in Greenville. It's too far away from Greenville. It's not really in Conestee, even though the name says Conestee, because according to the internet, Conestee is not even a town. It's an unincorporated place, whatever that means. So the closest town nearby is Mauldin, South Carolina. I'm just going to go with that. This is Mauldin, South Carolina, population 24,724. Sits on about 10 square miles, and their motto is, explore our thriving community. Maybe not the best motto I've heard for a town, but is that really it? Somebody look that up. A guy named Benjamin Griffith was awarded the first land grant in the area that would eventually become Mauldin. The town is named after South Carolina Lieutenant Governor W.L. Mauldin, who had assisted in getting the Greenville and Lawrence Railroad to pass through the town. During the Civil War, many of Mauldin's citizens left to fight, and the town virtually dried up. It did not recover until after World War II. And here's the wild thing, Mauldin was not incorporated as a town until 1960. Incorporated in 1960 and already has a population of over 24,000. That's called growth on a fast track, y'all. The weird thing about Mauldin is there doesn't seem to be any old school town square. No downtown, no courthouse in the town center. Instead, what you have are 2 or 3 major 4-lane roads and strip malls that seem to go on forever. The hilarious thing, though, is that you can see this guy right next to a Dollar General on a busy 4-lane highway right there in town. Or you can see this guy on a busy 4-lane right across the street from the high school. Mauldin is unique in that way. But enough about Mauldin. We've got a trail to ride. The Conestee Nature Preserve. Let's go get us some nature.
There is no river that runs wide as your goodness. There is no mountain that stands tall as your faithfulness. There is no river that runs wide as your goodness. There is no mountain that stands tall as your faithfulness, and there's nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days your mercy followed me. There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days your mercy followed me. Father, you know withheld from us. Father, you never delayed keeping a promise. There is no wonderful thing that you have withheld from us. You've never been wrong. You've never been wrong. You've never been wrong. You've never been wrong. There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days, your mercy follows me. Oh, there is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days, your mercy follows me. Oh, and the years have left no trace upon your unfailing love. Not one time have you forsaken me. No, never once. Oh, and the years have left no trace upon your unfailing love. Not one time have you forsaken me. No, never once. There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days, your mercy followed me. There is nothing else I'll ever need. All of my days, your mercy followed me.
Let's talk about the Conestee Nature Preserve. It's a 640-acre wildlife sanctuary owned by a nonprofit and located just 5 miles south of downtown Greenville, but 2 miles from Mauldin. Their website calls it an accessible oasis of natural beauty and exploration. There are 13 miles of trails, y'all. 13 miles of trails and boardwalks, and 11 wildlife observation decks. They call it the wildest place in Greenville. Even though it's technically not in we've already covered that, right? Water is the defining feature of the Conestee Nature Park, and the vast floodplains and wetlands support a pretty lengthy list of wildlife, including, are you ready for this? Birds, beavers, river otters, deer, raccoon, fox, salamanders, frogs, snakes, and many others. The park's tagline encourages visitors to, quote, discover a world apart by temporarily becoming part of this vibrant natural system yourself. And then when you leave, you can just go home and brush yourself off and toss your clothes in the washer to get rid of that swampy smell. I'm just kidding, there's no swampy smell. Unless you fall in the water. Then there definitely would be a smell. They have what they call learning loop stations. That way if you want to take your kids and, educate them and have them learn things, which, who wants to do that? But anyway, if that's your desire, like if you homeschooled your kids, there's learning loop stations all over the place. You're supposed to ride only on the paved path. There are signs asking you to walk over the boardwalks. I'm not sure exactly why, but that's the desire there. So you should only ride where there's asphalt. I like the fact that there's lots of signs, good warning signs as far as traffic flow. Here's one we never want to see, right? But hey, have to do maintenance on the trail every now and then, build some new boardwalks, repair the old ones. It's okay. For my money, the maps are a tad bit complex and confusing. Maybe that's just me, but there are plenty of maps as well. And by the way, when you visit the Conestee Nature Preserve, please leave your fishing poles at home. The main entrance, the most popular entrance for this thing, seems to be found at a place called Conestee Park. It's an area that has a baseball stadium, a dog park, a playground, a Korean War memorial, and the mother of all picnic shelters. Let's get back to that baseball stadium. This is the stadium that used to be home to the Greenville Braves, AA affiliate for the Atlanta Braves. Who played there? Oh, you might have heard of some of them. Tom Glavine, Ron Gant, David Justice, Steve Avery, Ryan Klesko, Javi Lopez, Andrew Jones, and some guy that we previously mentioned named Chipper Jones. This stadium today is home to the Bob Jones University Bruins, but as I rode my bike around the perimeter of the stadium, so many memories came back. Now, I grew up a humongous Braves fan, even through all the bad years. I got so many Braves fan stories. I could literally bore you with stories about the Atlanta Braves and Greenville Braves for 3 or 4 hours at least. Easy. We won't do that. Instead, I'll pick one memory to share with you involving this particular stadium, which again is located right next to the Conestee Nature Preserve. It was 1992. I had been at spring training for a whole week, running camera for interviews with ball players like Chipper Jones, Chris Chambliss, Tom Glavine, and many others. But spring training was over, we were back in Greenville, and the Atlanta Braves were coming through Greenville for an exhibition game with the St. Louis Cardinals to be played at the Greenville Braves Stadium. How cool was that? So, my boss over at the cable company said, how would you like to go to the game and be what they call a runner? I said, what is a runner? He said, you get to be in the broadcast booth. I'm like, what? You get to be in the broadcast booth and you just do whatever they need, like hand them a Coke, hand them a bottle of water, just help them shuffle their papers around, just whatever they want you to do. I'm like, okay, sign me up, bruh. And he's like, and you get paid $50. I'm like, wait. I get to be at the game in the booth with the announcers and I get paid money for this. Absolutely. I'm there. So the announcers were going to be Ernie Johnson and John Schuerholz. Ernie Johnson was a legendary announcer that I had listened to since I was a kid. John Schuerholz was the general manager of the Braves, the architect of the renaissance that had taken place in 91 and 92. He brought them from worst to first. I got to be in the booth with these guys. All I had to do was hand them Cokes a couple of times, and I had to go to John Schuerholz's car to retrieve a briefcase. So that's my best Greenville Braves story right there. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to open this Braves 1995 World Championship Coke and take a few swigs because I'm kind of thirsty. Just kidding. Before my day was done, I had to stop at Tropical Grille in Mauldin, which I highly recommend, by the way. Highly recommend. I got the Cuban roasted pork bowl, and a good time was had by all. Next time you're anywhere near the Conestee Nature Preserve, pop in to visit the turtles and the ducks and the birds. Oh, and bring your bike.